All right, here we are. We have another issue review to do. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Police Gunship. So these had a fairly long life, and starting, I believe, in the Clone Wars and going all the way into the Empire time period. So let's go ahead and have a look and see what these are known for. Designed for Crown control, the Republic Police Gunship went by many names. Initially built for the forces of the Republic used on Coruscant, the gunship would also find employ in the Coruscant Guard, the Jedi Order, and after atrocities of Order 66, the Empire. Renaming it the Imperial Patrol Transport, Palpatine's military commanders sent the vessel to every far-flung corner of the galaxy to ensure the citizens of the new Galactic Empire were brought to heel. Um, Urban living. Cityscapes were a natural habitat for the gunship and played a large part in its design. Conceived as a lighter, more maneuverable cousin of the Republic Grand Army's attack gunship, the police gunship was created to weave through the endless spires of urbanized worlds like Coruscant, deploying troops to any trouble spots. Pilot and gunner sat right at the very front of the ship, looking out through vertically set windows to the streets below, and the gunner was equipped with a compact package of accurate weaponry, minimizing the wider damage which had brought public condemnation in the past. To the rear, a troop compartment could be packed with shock troopers, police, security officers, or Jedi, depending on the mission at hand. As Coruscant was one vast city, it had to be separated into planetary districts, with the police gunships being assigned to their own individual areas. In quiet times, encroaching upon neighboring districts was frowned upon, but during conflict and rebellion, these borders were relaxed, with Coruscant's various districts working together to marshal resources and cover the borders. Staying airborne. Highly efficient engines and repulsors could propel the gunship through the streets, giving it the power to fly high and low with equal ease. Much like the fire speeders they shared the packed skies of Coruscant with, the police gunship often needed to stay airborne for a significant amount of time, explaining the many solar panels which covered the ship. While occasionally swapping piloting and gunnery duties, the crew could work extensive shifts in the air during times of tension or unrest. They stayed wired into the situation via constant comms with the headquarters and could be dispatched from one corner of their assigned district to the other at a moment's notice. The heavy-hitting offensive capabilities of Republic attack gunships were always going to be excessive for the smaller and lighter police model, but the basic arrangement of weapons stayed the same. Therefore, two forward-facing ball-mounted turret laser cannons were installed beneath the cockpit, along with a tail laser cannon for extra protection. In addition, missile launchers gave the vessel an element of long-range offensive power when needed. Usually, but not always, outside of the more densely populated environs of the metropolis, in times of need, police gunships could be pulled in to assist rescue missions using the carefully guided weaponry to blast away steel and duracrete where required and allowing emergency service access to trapped civilians. Night vision. In a city so heavily built up, the requirement to be able to peer into every nook and cranny in search of criminals was essential. Hardwired into the design of the police gunship were powerful searchlights, powered in part by banks of solar panels fitted to the ships. These lights were allowing the pilot and the gunner to focus on specific areas or bathe entire blocks in light. This capability allowed the gunship to swoop down into the Stygian depths of Coruscant to the more undesirable districts of the city. In order to deploy police troops or Jedi swiftly, the gunship had two disembarkation routes via the normal entry and exit hatches on either side of the ship, and also in case of emergency via a rear ramp, which could be lowered to allow troops to jump down directly into the thick of a combat or rescue situation. Jedi, meanwhile, could leap down into action even more rapidly as they could counterbalance the normal laws of gravity with the use of the Force. To Catch a Jedi, Trials of Ahsoka. So this was in later episodes of Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano uh, was on the run, and she had been accused of murder, and so she was trying to basically she went on the run to try to prove her innocence. Capability of the police gunships was shown in full effect during the escape and subsequent police pursuit of Padawan Ahsoka Tano, wrongly accused of murder. As the young Jedi fled into the depths of Coruscant, determined to find an explanation to prove her innocence, a number of police gunships were scrambled. The craft's tight turns, powerful searchlights, and rear ramp for rapid deployment meant that once Tano had been located, the Jedi aboard could swiftly leap into action and make chase. Influences. This is our behind the scenes here. During the production of Star Wars The Clone Wars, George Lucas began early exploration for a proposed live-action series focused on the criminal underworld of the galaxy. Ideas and designs developed for this show would occasionally cross over into Star Wars Clone Wars. The Republic Police Gunship was one of a number of examples inherited from this process, appearing first in the latter seasons of the show, where it played a leading role in the pursuit of escaped Jedi Ahsoka Tano. The police gunship was seen in Disney XD's later Star Wars Rebels series, set 15 years after the events of Clone Wars, where it has been absorbed into the ranks of the Empire and renamed as the Imperial Patrol Transport. And that's what, actually, that's not there. That's here, I believe. Um, I think that's what they were showing. But yeah, you actually see them uh, going around in at Lothal. So now we're going to move on to Moraband, the Sith world. So those that are familiar with Legends books and stuff, you would be familiar with the name of Korriban. Um, in reality, it doesn't talk about it here, but in reality, Lucas did not like that name, and so he used Moraband, and we're going to learn about a little bit about that. After countless ancient conflicts, Moraband has today become an abandoned and forgotten planet. Its surface is an arid wasteland packed with canyons and rocky outcrops, and it is unknown how many sentient species still dwell on Moraband's soil. With so many dark myths and legends surrounding the planet's history about which little is known for certain, any who do choose to make the world their home are likely to be closely allied to ancient dark side cults. Modern travelers are strongly advised to keep away as far as possible from Moraband, though some more fearless explorers may be tempted to visit the source of so many legends. Such stories tell of the spirits of ancient Sith lords that still dwell near the Valley of the Dark Lords, and of the ruins of the Sith temples and tombs there. Sites thought to be so steeped in dark side energy that to visit them would turn mere mortals insane. Yoda's quest, and this again is something that came at the end of towards the end of Clone Wars, not counting the more recent final season that they did. Um, Yoda went on a quest. What is known about Moraband is that near the end of the Clone Wars, Jedi Master Yoda traveled to the world as part of a quest to seek deeper knowledge of the Force. Guided to the dark world by 5 mysterious Force priestesses, Yoda found herself alone as he prepared to face the Sith and the power of the dark side. The Jedi Master confronted ghostly guardians from before finally encountering the spirit of Sith Lord Darth Bane in his own crumbling tomb complex. But he saw through the illusion. Journeying deeper inside, Yoda fought against an arcane Sith ritual performed by Sidious and Tyrannus far away on Coruscant. The diminutive Jedi Master didn't learn the identity of Darth Sidious that day, but he survived long enough to learn more about the secrets of everlasting consciousness after death. Ironically, the spiritual Sith world of Moraband had played a crucial part in the survival of the Jedi Order. So that's all the official canon stuff that we have about Moraband. Now we'll discuss some of the legends stuff, and you can take that with a grain of salt because it is legends, and until they pull it into canon, it is just that. During the period known as 100-Year Darkness, which brought about the great schism between the light and the dark side of the Force, some 7,000 years before the rise of Darth Sidious's new Sith Order, the the defeated Dark Jedi were exiled into uncharted space. There, 12 prominent Dark Jedi, among them Susan and Sorzu Sin, pursued rumors of ancient kingdom of the Sith. Arriving in Sith space, they followed the Nokbalthia route to discover the five sacred Sith worlds: Ziost, Kar Delba, Relg, Cryas, and Korriban, as Moraband was then called. Making Korriban their home, these Dark Jedi, known as the Jin Jide, found themselves worshipped as gods by the native Sith population and became the first Sith lords. Interbreeding with the natives, they gradually built a powerful Sith empire until becoming powerful enough to strike at the Old Republic, beginning the Great Hyperspace War. So, one of the things you need to know about Sith is, per legends anyway, Sith is a actual race, not necessarily a dark side user. So, at least in legends, that's the way it is. So the reason why they would call them a Dark Lord of the Sith is because they became kind of exalted figures. So I don't know if they've even remotely tackled that in any kind of actual canon material currently, but that's the way it was in Legends. Some additional Legends information here. Moraband has been known by many names throughout history, with Korriban being recorded as the world's original name. The planet is situated between the Hydean Way and the Shulton Tunnels and neighbors several infamous planets that together make up the Sith worlds, including Ziost, Droman Kos, and Nikt Ka. Several millennia before the Clone Wars and the first Sith, a red-skinned species native to Korriban, had created a prosperous civilization that stretched out over the entire Stygian caldera, the ancient name of Moraband's current sector. This very early civilization, thought to predate the foundation of the Old Republic itself, was subsumed by the Dark Jedi, who took over the planet, taking the name of the species as their own to become the first Sith Lords, eventually establishing a powerful empire. Sacred World. Though Ziost would remain the official capital of the Sith Empire, the Sith Lords established a strong emotional connection to Korriban. The planet became the spiritual Sith homeworld and the location of some of the most sacred sites of the Sith tradition, including massive mausoleums for their dead, numerous temples, and the Valley of the Dark Lords. This last site was an acrid winding canyon that featured the largest and most impressive tombs of the mightiest Sith Lords that had ever lived, and seemed in particular to be a focus point of the dark side of the Force. The sides of the valley were excavated and used as burial grounds for the mummified bodies. Many Sith and their followers would travel to Korriban whenever a funeral took place to bury the Lord's body with their belongings and slaves that were supposed to accompany the Sith Lord into the realm of the spirits. Then the procession of dead would leave the world until another Sith Lord had perished. Oh, the procession of death, not dead. So basically, everybody that came for the funeral would then leave. Um, They pretty much only stayed there uh, to attend the funeral, and that's about it. Now let's talk about holographic technology, and this is going to be part one, so we will have a part two. Hologram is a projection of the three dimension of an object or a projection of data, most commonly maps, technical plans, or other information. The type and quality of the image are wide-ranging. They can be static or moving, live or recorded, with or without sound, large or small, color or monochrome. Much of that is determined by the quality of the original recording or broadcast, as well as the device projecting the hologram. Over the centuries, hologram technology advanced to the point that, by the time of the Clone Wars, it was difficult to immediately tell when something was real or a hologram. Far and wide, great and small, from the entertainment to military planning to stirring political speeches and holograms. Oh, holograms touch the lives of almost everyone in the galaxy. No matter how far flung their system, the technology is used in a variety of different ways and in sizes great and small. Handheld projectors. Holographic projectors have been around for centuries. Sometimes they are integrated into communication devices. Other times they could be tied remotely with a communicator. This was certainly the case with the circular holo projector carried by Jedi Knights in the twilight of the Republic. The Source Corporation ImageCaster personal holo projector was the size of a human palm and could hold up to 100 minutes of projected images or be tied to the Hush 98 comlink, also manufactured by SourceSub, to allow for live broadcast and recording. The Image Caster was a tough little unit with three projecting curved arms that could be twisted down into a tripod stand. The hologram projection quality was useful rather than outstanding, displaying the usual scan lines that were typical of the majority of holoprojectors of the time. All right. Holocrons. The nature of the Jedi and Sith holocron. Their design and construction remain a mystery. They had a deeply complex interface, able to record the teachings of an individual master and then present those teachings as an interactive lesson program that, at their most complex, responded to even the unstated needs of any given pupil. At their most simple, a holocron could contain hours of diary entries or a wealth of maps and other information, all available to be projected in above average quality and often with any visible projector, lens assembly, or similar technology. Oh, often without any visible. I'll get it right, I promise. Droid holocams. Astromech droids such as R2D2 and BB-8 were fitted with holocams and projectors. This allowed them to record and play back holographic data and messages, as well as act as mobile HoloNet communications interface when tied to the comm systems of a starship or a facility such as a military base. It was this technology that allowed Obi-Wan Kenobi to record vital information for the Jedi Council with the help of his astromech R4P-17, broadcasting it to R2-D2 on Tatooine so he could then use the more powerful transmitter on the ship he was on to relay the message to Coruscant. Later, R2-D2 would use similar technology to record the message from Princess Leia to Obi-Wan Kenobi shortly before her capture by Darth Vader that changed the course of the galactic history. Later still, combining the holographic galaxy data map held by BB-8 and R2-D2 allowed General Leia Organa to send Rey to find Leia's brother, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, and bring him back from his self-imposed exile. Holographic disguise matrix. When Count Dooku sought out a team of bounty hunters to plan and execute the kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine from the Festival of Lights celebration on Naboo during the Clone Wars, he employed hunter and tech genius Sinrich, a Snivian. He had invented the holographic disguise matrix, a work of singular brilliance, beamed out from an emitter not much bigger than the Sorosub image caster. It cloaked the user in a holographic disguise that, in concert with a voice emulator and sensor baffling technology, turned the wearer into someone else. While not perfect, Sinric never did iron out the power issue that caused the disguise to flicker occasionally. The Matrix disguise The Matrix disguises were enough to fool Senate commando guards and Jedi. With the death of Sinrix before their main operation on Naboo even began, and the confiscation of his technology after, the holographic disguise matrix became a legend of the criminal underworld. So there you go. That's part one of the holographic technology. So in this issue, we continue working the um, on the second mandible, and I'm assuming that we'll continue that in issue 83. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you'll be looking forward to seeing what's going to come up in issue 83. With that, I want to thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you always.